So it turns out that the RNC is having a Christmas party. Perfectly normal. Happens every year, obviously. Nothing wrong with that. Great. Where are they having it? Of course, Donald Trump's hotel in Washington, D.C. This guy is so brazen, man. So they're going to pay for that. It's going to go right into Donald Trump's pocket. It's like, I don't care. Remember when he said, I can shoot a guy on Fifth Avenue and I'll still get away with it? But I'm going to tell you at the end, this is going to be his undoing. I'll explain why in a second. But let me give you the full context. This is not the only time they're using his hotel or his properties so that Donald Trump can get rich off of being in the White House. Huffington Post explains already there have been complaints that Trump has carelessly, if not unethically, intermingled his business and political affairs. Those first surfaced during the campaign when he spent millions on his own plane and property, and extended to the first weeks of the transition as he made various calls to foreign officials who resided in countries where the Trump organization does business. So you know a lot of these stories already. He paid for his own plane, the Trump plane, out of campaign money. That wasn't his own money, it was the donor money, and he just put it in his pocket. He greatly increased the rent in Trump Tower as soon as he got into the general election. When it was in the primary and it was mainly his money, he barely paid normal size rent there. Right afterwards, they had the same exact office, the rent go up dramatically because he's like, charge it to the donors, who cares? So then he gets in office, he's had a meeting with the leader of Japan, he brings in Ivanka Trump, who has dealings with the government of Japan, business deals. Same in Argentina, same in Turkey, same in India, and it goes on and on. So now he's directing everybody into all of his hotels. Earlier this week, the Conservative Heritage Foundation hosted a reception there featuring Vice President-elect Mike Pence. Because if you don't go to his hotels, he takes note. In fact, foreign diplomats, meanwhile, have said they feel pressure to stay at the Trump International while in town, if only because staying elsewhere would send a bad signal to the incoming administration. He views the White House as his own personal piggy bank. So right now, he's right. Americans don't care. About 7 in 10 Americans in a recent poll said, yeah, if he keeps his businesses, we understand. We don't think it's that big a deal. So that's encouraged him to do everything to enrich himself. And 51% of Americans, including a lot of Hillary Clinton voters, say, hey, give the guy a fair chance. Let's see what he does. I actually love that about the American people. They're fair. They want to give the guy a chance. They don't see all the evidence that we see day to day. They don't see the evidence that I'm showing you here yet, but they will. Trump is seeing it all wrong. He thinks, I'm riding high now. And it turns out I did all this crazy stuff and they elected me anyway. And so, and I was self-dealing all the way through, and they elected me anyway. And now I'm the most powerful man on earth. I'm just going to grab all the goodies. But the American people might be fair and open-minded to you in the beginning, but they're going to be fair later as they judge you for what you've actually done. Now, a lot of you will disagree with me, and you'll think, oh, no, American people are suckers. They're not going to see it. Watch. This is what's going to get them into a lot of trouble. Because it's one thing when all the facts, are starting to formulate, but they haven't gotten to everybody yet. And it's one thing before he gets into office. But year 2, year 3, and there's no brakes in that car, and he thinks there are never going to be any consequences, he is going to abuse this to no end. And at some point, the American people's patience is going to run out. This self-dealing is so brazen, it's going to catch up with him. It isn't going to be tomorrow. But it's going to catch up with him. And so mark my words, this will be his undoing. Because at some point, all the regular folks who voted for Trump are going to turn around and go, what? He got himself that money, he got himself that deal, and he's still working for his own businesses 2-3 years in, and he's still enriching himself? He's supposed to be working for us. It looks like he's just working for himself and doesn't care about us. That's going to cost him far more dearly than he realizes.